Hi, my name is Damian. I'm from Damian Diesel, and we're going to show you how to fix a rotted pan on a 7.3 diesel without taking the engine out and without replacing the pan. Now, if you look behind me, we've got a 2002 four-wheel drive 7.3 diesel Ford pickup, and it's got a rotted oil pan, and we're going to fix it with this pan saver kit. What I have right here is a general purpose fiberglass pan shell made of a molding of the 7.3 oil pan. And here's all that you need to put it in. I've got a polysulfide adhesive sealant. This is good from -65 to +275. This is going to fully adhere this fiberglass pan shell to the oil pan. We got some spatulas, scrapers. We've got 36 grit paper and a grinding wheel, acetone, rubber gloves, some wooden wedges, and we've already taken the flywheel pan down, and I'll show you the condition of this pan. This is a typical 7.3 rotted oil pan. My trusty assistant Jim at the camera, and Alex behind me is going to assist me. You can see it's all rotted out on the bottom, which is very typical of these deep drawn oil pans. We're going to fix this up. It's not going to leak a drop. I've seen all manner of these oil pan repairs, and none of them work. This one does. All right, we're going to show you how it works. So when we're done, we're going to fully adhere this shell right on the pan, just like this. All right, we're back. Jim Pike, my trusty cameraman. Alex, my prep man. All right, we're going to install and prep and install the 7.3 pan saver kit. And if you note the number, this is Damian Diesel in Avon, Massachusetts. And we've done a ton of these. Alex, what are you doing?
Well, first of all, before I start the disc, I got to take the heavy rusted particles off because you're just wasting your time and wasting disc on this heavy stuff. So you want to chip this off first to get to the meat of the rust.
I see. So you're just pulling the heavy scale off right now.
Right now.
And you're going to come back to it with the 36 grit paper.
Exactly.
All right, let's see how the prep's coming. Okay. Looks like you got the heavy scale off.
Pretty much.
And you're hitting it with the grinding wheel. How's it coming?
Going pretty good. All the heavy stuff is off. There's still a little bit more. We have a couple pinholes, but we'll work on that later.
All right, we're back and we're checking out the prep on the oil pan, 7.3 diesel. As you'll notice, we've got the oil filter covered with a rag so that when you're in the middle of prepping everything, you don't contaminate the oil filter base with all your rust and scale. Now you can see the oil pan prep. We've got the whole sump of the pan prepped, and we're just going to finish hitting a few spots by hand. Now this front section of the pan, you can't get in there with any tools. You just got to do it by hand. You got to do as well as you can do. There's Alex hitting it. But we got a pretty good job on the prep. Now you got to save the old oil filter. As you can see, we've removed the oil filter and we put a rag in there to block it off. We're going to use the old oil filter later because we're going to put the pan shell on over this. We're going to screw the old filter up and we're going to drive wedges in between the old filter and the pan shell to keep the space, because there's a very little bit of clearance between the pan and the oil filter the way it is now. We don't want to lessen that clearance any more than we have to. So we're going to show you how to drive a couple of wooden wedges in there. But and you're going to notice right here, I'm going to zoom in on it, there's a rot hole right through the pan. All right, now you can't have any oil on this at all. I would suggest draining the oil out of it overnight or whatever you got to do. We can't have that when we apply the adhesive sealant. So I'm going to show you a trick to deal with that. I'm going to put a shop vac right over the drain plug hole, and I'm going to pull a vacuum on the pan, and it'll keep any drips from happening. And while we've got the vacuum on the pan, we're gonna batter up this whole pan just like frosting a cake. And we're also gonna put, hey Jim, how you doing? We're also gonna put the adhesive sealant on the inside of this pan shell. And we're gonna
Well, right now I'm gonna go ahead and take the shell
Yep.
and rough it up.
All right.
Once I rough it up, I'm gonna blow it out and then clean it out with acetone.
You're gonna wipe it with acetone. Now everything we do before we put the adhesive sealant on it gets wiped with acetone.
That's correct.
Clean and dry.
Yep.
Now here's the prep on the pan. We're just about ready. Matter of fact, we are ready to install the shell. Now you can see that pesky spot right there. Now some of you folks, when you're out there doing this, I'm just giving you a good look at the shell, are gonna have some pesky drips. Now it's absolutely critical that you not have any oil or grease on the prep surface when you put the polysulfate adhesive on. The best way that I have found to handle these pesky drips is by taking a shop vac and throwing the shop vac, which Jim Pike is going to grab. I just throw the shop vac right on. Andy, throw the switch. Alex. And it'll just stay there on its own. Now, you can wipe that with acetone, and you can prep it. Put all your prep. Now we're going to mix up the adhesive. This is the way I like to see it done. Get about a 2x2 wooden board, clean, take your acetone to it, make sure it's clean. We're going to mix 100% of the adhesive sealant with 100% of the activator. I like to do it like this. These are very thin cans. I like to turn the can upside down, and using my putty knife, I just poke through the bottom just like a can opener. Alright, there's the bottom of the can. I like to take 100% of the stuff. Don't waste any of it. Flip it over. Take the other end of the can off. All right. %. Get as much out as you can. We're going to try to use every bit of it. All right. Now we just now you have at least a half an hour to mix this in, at least. So take your time. You probably have more like an hour to mix it in. Now this is going to take 30 hours to cure at 70 degrees. When it's warmer, it'll cure faster. When it's colder, it'll cure slower. But when it's cured, it'll be the consistency of hard rubber, or harder than silicone. Almost like a tire. All right, this is what we got. We have a persistent drip here that won't go away, and we know that we can't have any standing oil on when we put our adhesive on. So this is a little trick we're going to do. We're going to put the shop vac on the drain plug, pull a vacuum on the pan, and I like to use a little of this metal duct tape. It's the metallized tape. I'm going to put the vacuum on it. I'm going to put a little bit of tape over that hole, and then we're going to prep everything. The best way to apply the polysulfide is with a gloved hand. This has all been wiped down with acetone. So while Alex is applying to the pan, I'm going to apply to the shell.